I feel like it would be interesting if, in general, we saw a more, a bigger attempt from, like, RPGs to, like, make just more NPCs that have meaningful interactions beyond, like, I am a storekeeper.
Yep.
You know, Jen and I have been playing Baldur's Gate lately, and one thing that actually strikes me about it is how it actually sort of feels worth it to talk to individual people. And one of the reasons I think is that, like, instead of... They have no voice acting for the most part. Or rather, they have voice acting, but it's unrelated to what they actually say. So, you select them, and then they say something aloud while you're walking up to them. Which is usually fun. Like, we actually have a lot of fun, like, just, like, repeating them to each other sometimes out of nowhere. Like, I have no time for to talk to you now. Or, don't touch me. I might catch something.
Yeah.
Like, they're very, like, campy. And then they have a lot of... Then, because they don't have voice acting and you don't have to just, like, sit there like, listening to them, like, they can get a couple sentences where they talk about whatever dumb thing they find interesting or important. And you can read it or not, it's up to you, but it's like, kind of the compromise of having it be spoken dialogue that you listen to for just long enough before you run away, means that you really need to cut it down, and it doesn't feel like you're talking to an actual person. It feels like you ask someone to improvise something interesting, and they know that if you get bored, you're going to run away and they don't get paid.
But then, at the same time, like, my counter-argument would be, like, how does something like Overwatch, where, like, characterization has been created by fans by, like, just sound bites. And, like, not a lot of... Like, there's the animated stuff, but it's not, like, a lot.
I think that's, like, I think that's definitely a thing, but I also think that we're talking about something slightly different. Oh,
No, but so basically my point is, like, there's a lot that can be... There's a lot of power to just, like, a one line encapsulating a character.
These are helpful.
Oh, sure.
Later, though.
What, you don't feel like talking?
I think, what are you doing out here? But also I think that requires a lot of skill to pull off.
Yes, absolutely.
And you need a distinct character to communicate. It can't just be like a random peasant or something. Like, it can't just be like kind of a normal guy who maybe has something interesting to say. It has to be an interesting person.
Right. I'd hate to see a busy morning for you.
Yeah, and it's really, that's why it works for, like, main characters and asymmetric RPGs, is because you do interact with them a lot, and it kind of, the repetition kind of enforces it more and more.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking straight at least.
Don't get used to it.
Tell me exactly what happened to Ursa. Start from the beginning.
No one knows for sure. She left in the middle of the night with a few of her best men.
Her best men? But she didn't bring you?
No. I'd been drinking a lot. Or maybe she thought... damn, I don't know. I couldn't hack it. Search parties found their bodies the next day, and the corpses of some Shadow Karja cowards. It was an ambush. The Shadow Karja are animals. They beat her so bad we can't even show her face before burial.
That animation was not the greatest.
I find the soldiers who did this.
I'm so sorry.
They were trying.
Allow me to express my grief in the traditional manner by shaking my head slightly to the side and then leaning.
I'm looking down.
Looking down interestedly.
A message, a report of some new Shadow Karja threat, I don't know. Sometimes,
when the winds are quiet, I think you'll be able to hear her spirit whistling through my tress
Ursa
effects.
most of all. She teamed up with Avad to kick their asses.
Does this game have hair technology? I don't think it does. Or like proprietary hair technology.
She's got them sort of bouncy flyaways. I'm kind of guessing.
She does.
All right. Show me where Ursa fell, and I'll do what I can to help.
Come on, follow me.
To be honest, I'm not even sure I could tell you for sure if a game uses stress effects or not. Even seeing like a side-by-side comparison.
I don't Does Tress Effects even exist anymore? Like, I haven't heard it being implemented lately. I know Hairworks is a thing, NVIDIA Hairworks,
Come all the way out here.
which is ironic. They saw AMD doing, like, hair stuff, and were like, no, wait, hang on.
We are the hairdressers.
Is this Shadow Carja?
Give me a head with hair,
They broke
long,
the
beautiful hair.
What is it with this game and trying to make it as difficult for us to see the cool environments as possible lately? Not that sandstorms aren't cool, but... Oh yeah,
But
what do you
you
think,
can't
Brett Skarn,
see.
of the sort of, you left and we were in, the Rocky Mountains, and now we're very much not in snow faux Skyrim land.
Can't see artifact of yours. Can
Yep.
find a clue or
I
something?
have no particular opinion. I'm used to games playing
I need to find
geographical
out.
shenanigans, and honestly, it doesn't faze me.
Is this it? Here we go, okay, yeah.
I mean, you know my opinions on geological pedits, Josh.
They look like snares.
Plus, I just tend to assume that any video game truncates the size of its open world.
They look good as new. Never fired.
Oh yeah, this area is super compressed. Did I make that clear to you? This is like America. This is Colorado and Utah. Like
Right,
Pikes Peak is
right.
over here. Colorado Springs is over here. Denver is up here.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that was Florida.
No. So yeah, like this is like 250 miles, you know, compressed into an open world game area. It's like it is a similar level of compression to like that we saw with Assassin's Creed Origins, where you could stand at the edge of the Nile Delta and see simultaneously the Lighthouse of Alexandria and the Great Pyramid of Giza, which no.
Did someone...
Yep.
Oh no,
You know, I
this is
think-
not the time for you to hijack this episode for Egypt.
Stain forms a line, as if blood dripped off the edge of something, like a cart. See?
Not that I think
Contrast.
Origins did not have a great world.
Someone moved the bodies here, then
They really
scattered
did a
them
good
across
job
the field.
of showing the variety of
Are
Egyptian
you saying
geography
dead found here
and
were killed
archaeology
somewhere
or
else? Why would the
architecture.
Shadow Carja
Not
do that?
archaeology. Well,
At
archaeology
this
too.
point, I'm not taking it for granted that the Shadow Carja are responsible.
Of course they were.
Well,
So we saw evidence that this whole scene was staged. Arrows that had never been fired. Blood splatters that didn't seem to match up with what you'd expect. And here we are highlighting a track, not blood this time, a cart.
All right.
Hey, I got a question for you. Are bunnies cute? Do they count as our
Yeah.
cute animals?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're cute.
Okay, then don't look.
Oof.
I'm sorry, I need
Silly
to kill
rabbit.
a certain number of them to craft the stuff that we need to have resource capacity and shit.
Silly rabbit. Bony
Oh, there's
meat
also
is
blood
for
now.
me. But yeah, okay, so I think open worlds that are actually the size that they're supposed to be, even in, games like, even in open world games like, your Oblivions and your Morrowinds, I think that's one of the things where the people who want that
Get why they wanted this.
maybe don't realize they don't actually want
Why
it.
fake an ambush?
there's
'Cause-
this.
All right, so Daggerfall did have an open world that was exactly as large as, in theory, it was supposed to be, and it was pretty crappy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people enjoyed Daggerfall and probably even enjoyed this aspect of it, but I think for most people, you sort of realize that there's a few points of interest in the entire game, about as many as exist in most open worlds, that are actually like the interesting, like worth visiting. Everything else is procedurally generated to the point where there are like dozens of towns that have the same name. And what it actually means is that you no longer really have an open world game in
These
any
guys
practical
aren't
sense.
shadow
You have an open world where you
They're from my
could
tribe, the
walk
Asura.
18 miles if you wanted to, but no one ever does because
usually
that
greet
would
each other?
take months of game time. Like that, like you'd be playing like months of you setting aside your game time to trudge through a basically procedurally generated wilderness. And because you don't want to do that, there really isn't actually ever a time you're going to set out through the wilderness. You're just fast traveling all the time, and it doesn't feel much like an open world game. Daggerfall barely feels more open world than Arena, and Arena was entirely instanced.
Yeah, like, I don't have a problem with them compressing space, of course. Like, there's, you know, I feel like the open world should be only as large as it needs to be.
Right. I'm sort of I'm arguing against like an imaginary person here, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sure there are gamers who are like, look at, isn't it great that this world is the size of
I
fucking
think it's calling in the
Britain? Isn't that cool? And it's like, nah.
Take a screenshot, top text, bottom text.
Oh, what? Why? Oh wait, okay. This is actually part of it, where they... No, give me the...
That moment in game logic where, this is supposed to be an entire state, because this is not as large as that state.
Yeah.
Aloy's supposed to be a human woman? Because she's like 6 inches on my screen.
Come on.
Hello.
Hang on, Aaron.
Just like that waddle when she's got her minigun.
The head wobble.
Yep. Just loving it.
God damn it.
Asaram.
I kind of wish the Heavy looked like that when he was toting his gun around.
Looks like I was wrong about everything, as usual.
And now we've got the same armor Aaron has.
Use that second sight of yours. I have to know what really happened.
I'm on it.
I see a Ravager with blue on it. That's what my second sight is showing me.
Honestly, if I had to guess, like, at which open world game would not have a minigun mechanic, it probably would have been this one.
There are straight up guns with bullets in this game as heavy weapons.
So much blood.
Yeah, it's just like, you know,
What are those leather straps? A lot of people died here.
it's interesting how this is such a thing. Like, it's such an established gameplay mechanic, because it feels so situational and, like, so specific to a particular kind of style or story. But in actuality, it's almost like third-person games where with combat in them, where you can't pick up some giant mounted gun and trudge around with it while firing, like, a endless or heat-valued or just, like, large supply of bullets at enemies are exceptional.
Used power cell.
Yeah. Where... What else do we need to examine here?
Those rocks. They're shattered. Something hit these stones. Something I've never seen before. These look like Vanguard weapons. There's no blood on them. Ursa's men didn't fight back.
This is Ursa's helmet. I thought she died in the field below, but must have been here. All this trickery. For what?
Yeah, the weird thing is,
She had
Aaron
helmets
has a
turned off.
helmet, but he just doesn't use it most of the
I have a
time.
theory, but it
Oh, he's got a helmet, he just has the helmet's turned off.
So far, your theories are better than other people's facts.
All right. I think the Oseram ambushed Ursa and her men with a new weapon. They mounted it on that tripod up there. It fires waves of force, maybe sound. Looks like it cracked the stone there. I think it paralyzes people instead of killing them.
Aloy, like, occasionally turns into Sherlock Holmes, which is
Blood
interesting.
on their weapons.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Why paralyze them if you?
It does seem like it wasn't really established early, which it feels like if it's going to be a big part of the storyline, it sort of should have been, but maybe I also missed something.
She's kind of established as always having been inquisitive and observant, so, like, it kind of makes sense.
These leather straps.
Well, and
never
trackers
brought
kind of
one,
have
like,
to be,
oh.
right?
The armor.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of, like, cross
He's lying in state in Meridian. I saw it.
Venn
You
diagram
said she was
professional.
unrecognizable. Maybe they switched another body into her armor, someone around the same size, and mutilated it enough, so it could have been anyone, even Ursa. Go back to Meridian. Take another look at that body.
Oof.
If it's really Ursa, of course I'm wrong. But if I'm right,
Then my sister could be alive. I'm going. Meet me back there when you can.
With his outfit, he almost looks like he's from a different game.
forget about traveling light.
He kind of looks like a
How I feel
Florentine
about a lot of
adventure
characters.
almost. Runs Zero Time. Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
there's
I
not
guess you could say
anything
there's a
here.
diversity of design on display. Especially with post-apocalyptic games, I suppose there's a fine line between having a cohesive aesthetic and, you know, being boring.
So, I kind of got a question here. Do we want to go and do the next stage of the other set of main quests, which is to go find Olin? Or do we want to just run this whole errand quest line through to its conclusion before switching to that?
Let's run to its conclusion. I think, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Then let's... there's some stuff we can find here, but who cares? Let's teleport to Meridian.
Also, it's a little on the nose to have a quest giver named Errand.
Thing is, he, like, barely gives any quests.
I suppose.